I'm sick. I'm sick. I have a fatal disease. I have a fatal disease. It's all over with. It's not fair. I'm too young. All of that. You suddenly have a fatal disease. When it's 2 in the morning and I'm getting all crazy like that, it's always a brain tumor. Because with a brain tumor, you can always panic yourself even more because you can attribute any symptom to that. Maybe you're lying there thinking it's a heart attack or a stroke or some such thing. I'm willing to make a bet, though. You are not lying there thinking, oh my God, this time it's smallpox, or this time it's dysentery for sure, or I can just feel them. I've got liver parasites the size of my fists crawling around in me. You're not going to be worrying about something like that. And in that regard, you are not a normal mammal. You take a normal mammal and you look at the diseases that do them in, and it's ones where there's an acute challenge to your health. It is something major and serious. And what are we doing there? We're worrying about circumstances that slowly do us in. And this is how we humans, especially we westernized humans, differ critically than animals out there. For most of the beasts on this planet, you look at what gets them sick, and it is an acute crisis. You are some zebra, and a lion has leapt out and ripped your stomach open, your innards are dragging in the dust, and you still need to get out of there. And what do we do instead? We worry about sort of physiological states. We worry about our body slowly going to hell on us over the course of 75 years. And this is a very different realm of disease. For the most part, we are spared the infectious diseases, the diseases of poor hygiene, poor nutrition, and instead we have these diseases where you slowly fall apart over time. And this is westernized disease. And this is a very different realm of who gets sick and who is healthy. 1900, what were the leading causes of death in the United States? All sorts of things we don't worry too much about anymore. Pneumonia, tuberculosis. If you were a woman between ages 20 and 40, the single medically riskiest thing you could do was try to give birth. #1 killer of women in that range. And what was #1 on the list as a whole? Influenza, the flu. 1918, worst winter of World War I, people being blown out of trenches all over Europe. And if you were sent to the war that winter, so your chances of surviving were better than if you came down with the flu. 8 million war deaths in World War I. Best estimates, 40 million dead civilians from the flu. The flu, we don't worry about the flu anymore. Instead, we worry about these diseases where we slowly accumulate damage. And these diseases like heart disease, like stroke, things of that sort. And this, again, is a very different realm of who is healthy and who's sick. 20,000 years ago, you're some 20-year-old hunter-gatherer, and you have screwed up, you have made a major medical mistake, you've eaten some reed buck riddled with anthrax. And the medical outcome's absolutely clear. You've got like a 2-day life expectancy. These days, you're a 20-year-old and you've screwed up big time because you've decided a healthy diet consists of a lot of red meat or saturated fats or cholesterol, and it's not at all clear what the medical outcome is going to be. You may be dead in your grave when you're 50, or you may be running marathons with your grandkids when you're 85. And in lots of ways, the central question in westernized disease these days is, why do some of us live to 50 and some of us to 85? Now, some of that has to do with, nuts and bolts biology, what your liver does with cholesterol, things of that. But a lot of it has to do with issues that nobody in medicine had to think much about before. Utterly bizarre questions like, what's your social status? Or how do people with your social status get treated in your society? What's your psychological makeup? Even something as bizarre as, so do you eat a lot more carbohydrates when you're feeling unloved? Figure that one out, and you've just solved half the cases of diabetes in this country. Whoa, that is a very different realm of who is healthy and who is sick. And when you look at the diseases that get us sick these days, those diseases of slow accumulation over time, these are predominantly diseases that are sensitive to stress. And most of us will have the profound westernized luxury of dropping dead someday of a stress-related disease. My name's Robert Sapolsky. I'm a professor of neuroscience at Stanford, and I'm the messenger with all this bad news. And the strategy in this course is going to be to get a sense of how does stress impact our lives, how does stress impact our health,